Hello world, RuTube. It's essentially a Russian YouTube clone with the least original name possible. Here you can watch anything from your typical prank videos to all the pro-Putin news you'd ever be able to stomach. But why the vast array of what feels like Kremlin propaganda? Well, it might have something to do with the fact that RuTube is kinda owned by the Russian government. Well, on paper it's owned by Gazprom Media, which are themselves owned by Gazprom, Russia's largest energy company, which the Russian government just so happens to have a controlling stake in. So, RuTube's user base has grown exponentially ever since the invasion. Russians have been flocking to it, fearing that Putin would actually go ahead and ban YouTube, which hasn't happened, at least not yet. This site has everything you'd expect from a YouTube clone, even a dreaded shorts section. But on the 9th of May, RuTube disappeared from the internet and was replaced with a notice. Attention, the site has been attacked. It turns out that overnight the site had been hit with a crippling attack, the details of which are potentially kind of ridiculous, but we'll get to those shortly. Now, as expected, whenever there's an apparent case of hacktivism, a bunch of Twitter accounts with anonymous in the name jumped on board to claim responsibility, despite having absolutely nothing to do with it. And because of this, news sites will often falsely attribute hacks to whatever Twitter account manages to tweet about it first, which in this case was the account Puckarks. They quoted their sources saying that RuTube was now apparently completely unrecoverable, but leaving out any explanation of why. The actual perpetrators of this attack seems to be a Ukrainian hacktivist group, with a very fitting name given what they did to RuTube. I found them leaking data they stole from RuTube on Mega, looks to be a bunch of RuTube source code. Unfortunately though, it's now inaccessible and I can't seem to find a mirror anywhere. The Twitter account has been silent ever since, but they did post screenshots of what looks like RuTube's backend, as well as various leaked documents, ironically showing that just last year, RuTube had completed pen testing audits costing them tens of millions of rubles. This amounts to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So whilst the group running this Twitter account seems to have actually carried out the hack, the IT Army of Ukraine, a collectivist of pro-Ukrainian hacktivists, organised by Ukraine's government themselves, also took credit for RuTube's pwning. I can only guess these guys are somehow affiliated with the IT Army of Ukraine, but anyhow, the IT Army released a video containing some interesting details about the hack. So apparently, in addition to bringing down RuTube, the perpetrators were also able to compromise the passcard system for RuTube's server room and lock all the employees inside, which after several hours led to the server room door actually having to be physically broken down. But there's no evidence of this, no hacked CCTV footage or anything. If it is true, it is pretty funny, but again, no evidence, sadly. The hack itself went down on the 9th of May, and this timing was no accident. It was done on this day to coincide with Russia's annual Victory Day parade, which is typically seen as a commemoration of the end of the Second World War, you know, a good thing. But this year, of course, things were slightly different. And in RuTube's official Telegram channel, they admitted someone really wanted to prevent RuTube from showing the Victory Parade and fireworks. So RuTube was down, but this hack wasn't the only one to coincide with the day of the parade. Check this out, it's a video of a Russian TV schedule. The name of every single program on every single channel is identical. In English, they all say, "On your hands is the blood of thousands of Ukrainians and their hundreds of murdered children. TV and the authorities are lying. No to war." So which group did this, or whether this was an inside job, we just have absolutely zero information. But back to RuTube. Far from being gone forever, as the attackers originally claimed, after just 3 days, RuTube.ru returned and seems to be working as normal. RuTube hasn't made public many details about the attack, but they did claim on Telegram that it wasn't an inside job, but rather it originated from outside the company. And Russian state-owned media company TASS is reporting the attack harmed more than 75% of databases and infrastructure of the live site and 90% of backup copies. I'm assuming by harmed they mean deleted, but I'm still kinda confused because they say the whole library including user content as well as the source code are intact, so what exactly was affected isn't really clear. And given the non-existent level of Russian government transparency, we'll probably never know for sure. So RuTube lives on, at RuTube.ru if you're curious enough to check it out. Now this video was made possible by Linode, who are giving you a $100 60-day credit just for signing up. Linode is essentially your Swiss Army knife for cloud computing. If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. One great feature of Linode is their app marketplace, which makes it super easy to spin up servers with pre-configured software. For example, use Linode's Pi-hole app to set up a DNS sinkhole that you can use to block ads across all your devices. And yeah, I do recognise the irony in promoting ad blocking within an actual ad. Linode can run almost anything by providing all the tools a developer really needs at competitive prices. Use the link in the description now to claim your free $100. Thanks for watching, and you know what to do. Tickle that notification bell and follow me on the Instagrams for behind the scenes content, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.